My name is Max. I want to learn English. When I was younger, I did not learn English, but now I really want to learn. I have two big reasons. The first reason is that I want to travel. I want to visit other countries. When I travel, I will need to speak English. Many people around the world use English. If I know English, I can ask for help, talk to people, and make new friends. The second reason is for my job. At my job, many people speak English. My boss told me that I need to know some English to do better work. If I can learn English, I can get a better job and earn more money. This will help me and my family. Right now, my English is not very good. I am a beginner. I know some small words like hello, thank you, and goodbye, but I cannot say long sentences. When I try to speak English, I feel nervous. Sometimes I am afraid that I will make mistakes, but I know that mistakes are okay. I am ready to try and learn more. I decided to start learning English step by step. I will study every day. I want to learn to speak, read, and write in English. It may be difficult at first, but I know I can do it if I keep going. This is just the beginning of my English journey, but I am excited to learn. One day I will speak English well, and I will feel proud of my hard work. I want to learn English, so I need a plan. When I decided to learn English, I knew that I needed to think about why I wanted to learn. It is important to have a clear goal. A goal is something you want to achieve, something you want to do. Without a goal, it is hard to stay focused. So I asked myself, why do I want to learn English? I thought for a long time. I want to learn English for two big reasons. First, I want to travel. When I go to other countries, many people will speak English. If I can speak English, I can ask for directions, talk to people, and understand signs in English. Second, I want to learn English for my job. I know that many good jobs need English. If I speak English well, I can get a better job, make more money, and help my family. So my goal is to learn English to improve my life. But I also know that learning a new language is not easy. It takes time. I cannot learn English in one day, or 1 week, or even 1 month. So I set a clear goal for myself. My goal is to speak English well in 1 year. I want to give myself time to learn slowly, step by step. 1 year may seem like a long time, but it is important to be patient. I know that if I practice every day, I will get better. If I do a little bit of study each day, I will improve. My goal is to speak English fluently, which means I want to be able to talk to people without stopping or thinking too much. I want to feel comfortable speaking English. I also made a promise to myself. I promise that I will not give up, even when it is hard. I will keep going. Some days I might feel tired. Some days I might feel like I am not learning fast enough. But I will keep going because I know why I am learning. My goal is big, and it is important to me. Every day I remind myself why I am learning English. I think about my dream to travel. I imagine myself in another country, talking to new people in English. I see myself at my job speaking English to my boss and my coworkers. I think about how learning English will make my life better. When I think about these things, I feel happy and excited. This excitement is called motivation. Motivation is what makes me keep going, even when things are hard. Sometimes learning is slow. I might not see big changes every day, but I know that little by little, I am getting better. Every new word I learn, every new sentence I understand, brings me closer to my goal. I believe that if I work hard, I will reach my goal. I also know that mistakes are part of learning. Sometimes I will make mistakes. I might say the wrong word, or I might not understand something. But that is okay. Mistakes help me learn. If I make a mistake, I can learn from it, and I will not be afraid to try again. So my first step in learning English was setting a goal. My goal is clear. I want to speak English fluently in 1 year. I also remind myself why I am learning. This helps me stay motivated. Motivation is very important because it gives me the energy to study every day. Without motivation, I might feel like giving up. But with motivation, I feel strong and ready to learn more. Now that I have my goal, I can start learning step by step. I know it will take time, but I am ready to work hard. Learning English will help me in my life, and that is why I will keep going. After setting my goal, I knew I had to start with the basics. The basics are the first things you need to learn when you start a new language. For English, this means learning the alphabet, numbers, and some simple words. I knew that if I started with the basics, I could build my English skills step by step. First, I learned the alphabet. The alphabet is the set of letters that we use to make words. There are 26 letters in the English alphabet, from A to Z. I started by learning each letter. I would say the letters out loud: A, B, C, D, E. I practiced writing the letters too. I wrote them in big letters and small letters. I wanted to make sure I knew all the letters because the letters help me read and write words in English. I also learned the sounds of the letters. Each letter has a sound, and these sounds help us say words in English. I would say each letter in its sound, like A, ah, or B, buh. I practiced this a lot so I could remember the sounds. This was very important because it helped me start to read and say words. Next, I learned numbers. Numbers are also very important in English. We use numbers every day. We use them to talk about time, money, age, and many other things. I learned the numbers from 1 to 10 first. I said them out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I also practiced writing the numbers and saying them. After that, I learned more numbers, like 11, 12, 20, 30, 50, 100, and 1000. I wanted to know how to talk about numbers in English, so I practiced them every day. Once I knew the alphabet and numbers, I moved on to basic greetings. Greetings are words we use to say hello or goodbye to someone. They are simple but very important. I learned the basic ones first. When I meet someone, I can say hello. When I leave, I can say goodbye. I also learned how are you, which is something people say when they meet. It means they want to know how you are feeling. If someone asks me, how are you? I can say, I'm fine, thank you. At first, I felt shy using these words, but I knew I had to practice. So I said them out loud by myself. I would pretend to meet someone and say, hello, how are you? I also practiced saying good morning and good night. These are important words we use every day, and I wanted to be able to say them easily. To remember all these words, I used flashcards. Flashcards are small pieces of paper with a word on one side and the meaning or translation on the other side. For example, one flashcard might have hello on one side, and on the back it says greeting or hi. Flashcards are great for learning because I can look at the word, try to remember it, and then check the back to see if I was right. I made flashcards for many words. I would carry them with me and look at them when I had time, like when I was sitting on the bus or waiting for something. I also use mobile apps to learn new words. There are many apps that help people learn English. Some apps teach you new words, some teach grammar, and some help you practice speaking. I found some apps that were easy to use, and I downloaded them on my phone. Every day I spent some time on the app, learning new words and practicing the words I already knew. One app had a fun game where I had to match the word with its meaning. For example, I saw the word thank you, and I had to find its meaning, which was a way to say thanks. It felt like playing a game, but I was learning at the same time. The app also helped me remember words because it showed them to me many times, so I wouldn't forget them. Learning new words was exciting, but I knew I had to practice them too. Every day I tried to use the new words I learned. I would greet my family by saying hello or good morning. When I helped someone, I would say, "You're welcome." When I needed help, I would ask, "Can you help me, please?" Practicing these words in real life made me feel more confident. The more I used them, the more comfortable I became. I also started watching videos in English. At first, I watched simple videos with basic words and sentences. I listened carefully to how people said the words. If I didn't understand a word, I would pause the video, write the word down, and look it up later. Watching videos helped me hear how people speak in English, and it was good practice for listening. Step by step, I built my English with the basics. I didn't try to learn too much at once. I started small with the alphabet, numbers, and basic words like hello, thank you, and how are you? I practiced these words every day, and little by little, I learned more. I didn't worry if I made mistakes because I knew I was learning. The important thing was to keep practicing. Every day I studied a little, and every day I learned something new. It was exciting to see how much I could improve just by starting with the basics. After learning the basics, I knew that I needed to practice English every day. To get better at anything, you need to practice regularly. So I decided to make English part of my daily routine. A routine means something you do every day, like brushing your teeth or eating breakfast. I wanted English to be a normal part of my day, just like these things. I knew that if I could practice English every day, even for a short time, I would improve. So I made a plan. My plan was simple. Every day I would do something in English. I didn't need to spend hours studying, but I wanted to make sure I practiced English in some way every day. One of the first things I did was listen to English songs. Music is a great way to learn a language because it helps you remember words. I started by listening to simple English songs, songs with easy words and slow music. I listened to the songs many times, trying to understand the words. At first it was difficult. The singers sang fast and I didn't understand much. But I kept listening. I also looked up the words to the songs. I found the lyrics online, which are the words to the song. I would listen to the song and read the lyrics at the same time. This helped me understand what the song was about. Slowly, I started to recognize more words. One of my favorite songs was Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. It is a very simple song, and it has easy words. I listen to it every day. I also like some pop songs that were slow and easy to understand. The more I listened, the more I learned. Sometimes I would sing along to the song. Singing helped me practice speaking English too. I also started watching English videos with subtitles. Videos are a fun way to learn English because you can see people talking and you can hear how they say the words. I started by watching short, simple videos. There are many videos made for people learning English, so I found some that were easy to understand. At first, I watched the videos with subtitles. Subtitles are the words that appear on the screen while the video is playing. This way, I could read the words while I listened to the people talking. It helped me understand better. If I didn't know a word, I would pause the video, write the word down, and look it up later. One of my favorite types of videos was English learning stories. These are stories told in simple English, with subtitles so I could follow along. I watched these videos every day, and I tried to repeat the sentences I heard. This helped me practice both listening and speaking. Sometimes I watched English cartoons. Cartoons are great because they use simple language, and they are fun to watch. I watched cartoons like Peppa Pig and Dora the Explorer. These shows use easy English, and they are made for children, so they were perfect for me as a beginner. I watched one episode every day and listened carefully to how the characters spoke. Another thing I did was read simple English books. Reading is very important when learning a language. It helps you see the words and understand how sentences are made. I started with very simple books. I found books for children with big letters and pictures. These books had easy sentences like, "The cat is black," or "I see the dog." The pictures helped me understand the story, even if I didn't know all the words. I read these simple books every day. I would read the same book many times until I could understand all the words. At first it was slow and I had to stop and look up words, but after a few days I started to remember the words and I could read faster. One of the first books I read was The Very Hungry Caterpillar. It is a famous book for children. The story is simple and the pictures are colorful. I enjoyed reading it and it helped me learn new words. I also read books like Brown Bear, What Do You See? And Good Night Moon. These books are short, but they are great for beginners like me. Every day I tried to speak English too. Speaking is one of the most important parts of learning a language. At first I was shy. I didn't know many words and I was afraid to make mistakes. But I knew that if I wanted to improve, I had to practice speaking. Since I didn't have anyone to speak English with, I talked to myself. I would stand in front of the mirror and practice saying simple sentences like, "Hello, how are you?" Or, "My name is Max." I also practiced introducing myself. "Hi, I'm Max. I live in a small town. I like learning English." Even though no one was listening, it helped me feel more comfortable speaking. I also tried to speak English when I went to the store or when I met new people. If I knew someone who could speak a little English, I would say hello or how are you? It was scary at first, but every time I tried, I felt a little more confident. Sometimes I would record my voice while I practiced speaking. I would listen to my voice and check if I said the words correctly. If I made a mistake, I would practice the sentence again. This helped me improve my pronunciation and feel more confident. I practiced English in small ways throughout my day. I didn't have to study for hours. I found small ways to use English in my daily routine. For example, when I woke up in the morning, I would say, "Good morning" in English. When I ate breakfast, I would name the food in English, like bread, milk, or eggs. When I went for a walk, I would look at things around me and say their names in English, like tree, car, or house. I also set my phone to English. This way, I had to read everything in English. It was hard at first, but it helped me learn new words. I also used an English calendar, so I could practice saying the days of the week and the months of the year. Every day, I tried to do something in English. Even if I was busy, I made sure to listen to an English song, watch a short video, or read a few pages of a book. Little by little, I noticed that I was getting better. I could understand more words in songs and videos. I could read simple books faster. I could say more sentences when I spoke. Making English part of my daily routine was the best decision. It didn't feel like hard work because I was doing something small every day. Over time, all the small things added up, and I could see my English improving. Now, English is a normal part of my day. I enjoy listening to English music, watching videos, and reading books. I feel more confident speaking, and I know that if I keep going, I will reach my goal of speaking English fluently. After practicing English every day, I knew I needed to start learning grammar. Grammar is like the rules of a language. It tells us how to put words together to make sentences. At first, grammar seemed hard, but I knew that if I took it step by step, I could understand it. I didn't try to learn everything at once. Instead, I focused on the most basic grammar rules first. Learning these basic rules helped me make simple sentences and speak more clearly. The first grammar rule I learned was the present tense. The present tense is when we talk about things that are happening right now or things that happen all the time. It's very common in English, so I knew it was important to learn. I learned that the present tense uses verbs like am, is, and are. For example, I can say, I am Max. That's a sentence in the present tense because I'm talking about who I am right now. I also learned to say, he is my friend, and they are students. These sentences tell about things that are true now. I practice forming simple sentences using the present tense. I would say, I am happy, she is a teacher, or we are learning English. At first, I made mistakes, but that was okay. I knew that the more I practiced, the better I would get. Next, I learned about articles. Articles are small words like a, an, and the. They are very common in English, and we use them all the time. I learned that we use a or an when we talk about one thing. For example, a dog means one dog, and an apple means one apple. We use the when we talk about something specific, like the book on the table. At first, I wasn't sure when to use a, an, or the, but I kept practicing. I made sentences like, I have a cat, or she has an orange. I also practiced saying, the car is fast, or the house is big. Little by little, I started to understand how to use articles. I practiced forming simple sentences every day. The best way to learn grammar is to practice using it. So every day, I tried to make sentences using the grammar rules I was learning. I made simple sentences like, I like pizza, he is a student, or they are playing soccer. These sentences were easy, but they helped me understand how to use grammar. Sometimes I made mistakes. I would say the wrong word or I would put the words in the wrong order, but I didn't let that stop me. I knew that making mistakes is part of learning. Every time I made a mistake, I learned something new. If I said a sentence wrong, I would try again and say it the right way. I didn't worry too much about making mistakes. At first, I was afraid of making mistakes. I thought that if I made a mistake, people would laugh at me or think I wasn't good at English. But then I realized that everyone makes mistakes when they learn something new. Even native English speakers make mistakes sometimes. I told myself that it's okay to make mistakes. Mistakes are how we learn. Every time I made a mistake, I learned something new, and I got better. So I stopped worrying and just focused on practicing. If I said a sentence wrong, I would think about what I did wrong and try to fix it. For example, if I said I is tired, I would remember that I need to say I am tired. Then I would practice saying the correct sentence until it felt natural. I kept practicing grammar every day. I practiced using the present tense and articles in my daily routine. For example, when I talked about myself, I would say, I am Max, I am learning English, or I like music. When I talked about other people, I would say, she is a doctor, or they are my friends. The more I practiced, the easier it became. I also tried to notice how people use grammar in English videos and books. When I watched a video, I listened carefully to how the people spoke. I paid attention to the sentences they used and how they put the words together. When I read books, I looked at how the sentences were written. This helped me see grammar in action and understand how it works. Step by step, I got better at using grammar. I didn't try to learn everything at once. I focused on one thing at a time. First, I learned the present tense, then I learned articles. After that, I learned how to make more complex sentences. I practiced every day, and I wasn't afraid to make mistakes. Grammar is important, but it doesn't have to be scary. By practicing a little bit every day, I slowly got better at using grammar. Now I can make simple sentences easily, and I feel more confident speaking English. After learning grammar and building a daily routine, I knew it was time to practice speaking with other people. Learning alone is good, but speaking with others is very important. When you talk to someone, you practice real communication. You also hear how other people speak English, which helps you improve. but the idea of talking to someone in English made me nervous. I was afraid that I would make mistakes or that people wouldn't understand me. Even though I was nervous, I knew I had to try. If I wanted to get better at speaking English, I needed to talk to people. So I decided to find a language partner online. A language partner is someone you practice speaking with. They can help you, and you can help them too. I went online and found websites where people practice languages together. There are many websites and apps where people who want to learn English can find language partners. I signed up for one of these sites and started looking for a partner. At first, it was hard because I was shy, but then I found someone who also wanted to practice English, and we decided to help each other. We scheduled video calls once a week. During these calls, we practiced speaking English. At first, I was very nervous. I didn't know what to say, and I worried about making mistakes. But my language partner was very kind and patient. We started with simple conversations like introducing ourselves. Hello, my name is Max, or where do you live? The more we talked, the more comfortable I became. Joining English learning groups was also very helpful. I found some groups online where people come together to practice English. These groups are full of people who want to learn English just like me. They meet regularly and everyone practices speaking. I joined one of these groups and started attending their meetings. At the beginning, I didn't speak much. I just listened to others talk, and I practiced in my head. But slowly, I started speaking more. The group members were very encouraging, and they didn't mind if I made mistakes. We talked about many topics, like daily life, food, and travel. The group helped me get used to speaking English with more people, not just my language partner. Even though I felt nervous, I kept practicing. Speaking a new language can be scary, but I knew that the more I practiced, the less nervous I would feel. Each time I talked to my language partner or the group, I felt a little more confident. I reminded myself that making mistakes is part of learning. No one is perfect, and it's okay to make mistakes. The most important thing is to keep trying. Now, I try to speak English with other people as much as I can, whether it's online with my language partner, in a group, or even when I meet new people. I practice speaking whenever I get the chance. Each time I do, I get a little better, and I feel more confident in my English. One thing I learned is that consistency is the key to learning English. Learning English isn't something that happens in one day or even one week. It takes time, and you need to practice regularly. In the beginning, I thought that studying for a few hours once a week would be enough, but I realized that it's much better to practice a little bit every day. So I made a new rule for myself. I would practice English for at least 30 minutes every day. Some days I felt tired and I didn't want to study, but I reminded myself that if I want to improve, I need to stay consistent. I need to keep going, even on the days when I don't feel like it. Every day I did something in English. It didn't matter if it was a big activity or a small one. I just made sure that every day I was using English in some way. Some days I practiced speaking with my language partner or with my group. Other days I watched an English video or listened to an English song. Sometimes I read a book or I wrote simple sentences in my notebook. Even if I was busy, I found a way to practice. For example, if I had only a little time, I would open an app on my phone and practice vocabulary for 10 minutes. Or I would listen to an English podcast while I cooked or walked outside. These small activities may seem simple, but they helped me a lot. And consistency helped me make progress, step by step. Learning a language is like a journey. It's not about reaching your goal fast. It's about making small steps every day. Some days I felt like I wasn't improving. Maybe I made mistakes, or maybe I couldn't remember some words. But I didn't give up. I reminded myself that learning English takes time, and it's okay to go slowly. The important thing is to keep going. Every time I practiced, I was taking one more step forward. Little by little, I could see my progress. I could understand more words in songs and videos. I could read books faster, and I felt more confident speaking with others. All these small steps added up, and I could see that I was improving. I reminded myself that learning English is a long journey. Some people learn English quickly, but for most of us, it takes time. I knew that I wouldn't become fluent in just a few weeks or months, but I also knew that if I stayed consistent, I would get better. I stopped comparing myself to others. I focused on my own progress and celebrated every small success. Whether I learned a new word, made a new sentence, or spoke with someone in English, I was proud of every step I took. Now English is part of my daily life. It's no longer something I feel nervous about. Instead, it's something I enjoy. Every day I learn something new, and every day I get a little better. Staying consistent has been the most important part of my journey, and I know that if I keep going, I will reach my goal of speaking English fluently. After a few months of hard work and practice, I started to notice some big changes in my English skills. At first, learning English felt very difficult. I struggled to understand even simple words, and speaking seemed like a big challenge. But now I could understand and speak basic English much better. I was amazed at how far I had come in such a short time. I remember the first time I watched an English movie without subtitles. It was exciting. I could understand most of the conversations. Some parts were still hard, but I was able to catch the main ideas. I felt proud because I had worked hard to reach this point. I could see that my practice was paying off. Speaking English became easier too. When I spoke with my language partner, I felt more confident. I could talk about my day, share my thoughts, and ask questions. We would chat about different topics, like our favorite foods or places we wanted to visit. I remember one conversation where I talked about my hometown. I shared stories about my family and my favorite local dishes. I was so happy to express myself in English, even if I made mistakes. Sometimes I would feel nervous before speaking, but I reminded myself that it's okay to make mistakes. Everyone makes them, and they are part of the learning process. I started to speak more freely, and I enjoyed our conversations even more. My language partner was very supportive, and I could see that he appreciated my efforts to communicate. I also felt more motivated to keep improving. Every little achievement encouraged me to keep going. I set new goals for myself. After understanding and speaking basic English, I wanted to learn more vocabulary and start forming longer sentences. I began to read more books and watch more English videos. Each time I learned a new word or phrase, I felt a sense of accomplishment. I created a word journal where I wrote down new words and their meanings. Whenever I learned a new phrase, I would practice using it in sentences. For example, I learned the phrase "I would like to" and practiced using it when I talked about food or activities I enjoy. I was proud of how far I had come. Looking back, I realized that my journey was just beginning, but I had made significant progress. I remembered the days when I felt stuck and frustrated. Now I was able to communicate with others and understand them better. My English journey continues, but I take pride in the steps I have taken. Each day, I make a little more progress. Sometimes I still face challenges, but I know that I can overcome them. I remind myself that learning English is a journey, and every step counts. As I reflect on my journey, I want to share some encouragement for others who are learning English. Learning a new language can be difficult, and there may be times when you feel discouraged or overwhelmed. But I want to remind you that patience and consistency are key. It is important to stay patient with yourself and trust the process. Every effort you make will bring you closer to your goals. I have learned some valuable tips along the way that I want to share with you. Having clear goals helps you stay focused. Think about what you want to achieve. Do you want to speak fluently? Do you want to understand English movies? Set specific goals and work toward them step by step. Make English a part of your daily life. Practice for at least 30 minutes every day, even if it's just listening to a song or reading a few sentences in a book. Consistent practice will help you improve faster. Mistakes are a natural part of learning. Everyone makes them, even native speakers. When you make a mistake, learn from it and keep going. Each mistake is a chance to grow and improve. I want to remind everyone that anyone can learn English with effort and determination. It doesn't matter how old you are or where you come from. If you put in the effort and stay committed, you can reach your goals. I started as a beginner, just like many of you, but I have made progress because I didn't give up. My journey is ongoing, and I am excited to see where it will take me next. I hope that my story encourages you to take your first steps or continue your journey in learning English. Remember, every step counts, and every word learned is a step toward fluency. You can do it, and I believe in you.